Here again, we come to this corner where we do not find solution, but we find the truth that warehouses our solution. And here in this corner, we consider, and I have said that anywhere you are, there is a standard you're operating from. A lower standard will give you a low life. A good standard will give you an average, will probably give you a good life. But the quality of the standard that you deploy or engage in the details of life will shape your ultimate reality. And it is important that we consistently and constantly review, reflect, get into introspection to find out what standard, who is creating this standard, who set up this standard. Is it a parental standard that you're operating? It may be good, but is it also time that it could be sabotaging you, where you have to sit down to do a deeper reflection about your value system, about who you are? Does those standards align to your authentic self? You know what? One of the things I aspire is to live authentically. Authentically means that yes, I've been parented. Yes, I've been schooled by society. Yes, I've been influenced by such characters and actors of life. I could also have been influenced and be constructed by experiences. My actions and my speakings and everything I do, my expressions, do they align authentically to that core self, that core me? One of the things that changed my life is discovering who I am. And in discovering who I am, that's my identity, which is also flexible, that is not stagnated, that is not fixed, that is not attached to a particular set, because a lot of people identify with a particular form and they live all their life in that. It's to live that authentic me, my identity. And now it shapes entirely my vision. Of course, it was able to help me find my assignment on earth and my duties. And in finding that duty, that duty inspired my vision. People's vision are most time induced by desire, aspiration. But you see, what should influence your vision is your assignment, which is engineered by your identity. Now, in establishing your vision, that is at that point that you are going to be able to formulate your personal law in terms of value system. And that value system will begin to be appropriate very well through your virtue, which is now the expression of your value. You see the sequence. Now, but what shape your standard is ability to find your standard, find your assignment, find the vision of your life. Then that vision has now embodied and created your personal law that puts you in a boundary, not about limitation or borderlines, but ability to say, this is the path I have taken to work. So you can't just set a standard because other people have set a standard. You need to understand who you are. And that's why for us here, redefining standard means also even the standard of yesteryears may also not serve in your now. In your now. So you consistently review, redesign your standard, even a standard of speech. I mean, before I could speak languages or use languages that do not align to my core. And so you see that there's a disharmony. There's no alignment between my speech and my identity. So if my identity, for instance, is a builder, the language that I can't use, because to build people, to build the choir, consistently languages that are aligned and harmonizes. And that's why we're going to be talking about harmony in several dimensions. So you see, now my dressing also, that is my outlook, should be able to align. When you trace it, you see the identity, you see my assignment, You see my vision in it. You see my value system. You see my virtue. Virtue now be like character, behavior, disposition, speeches and all that. Have you seen how you construct your standard? It's not by emotion. Of course, your emotion has to also be in harmony to your identity. And your identity, for instance, if, for instance, I'm an enricher, now it means that I enrich life. It means that my disposition and my relationship and my definition of how I relate with events and people and circumstances must be such a way when you check the standard, they conform to my identity, they conform to my assignment, they conform to my vision, they conform to my personal value system, they conform to my virtue. So that is when you are living authentically. And that's why we need to raise the standard. Now, it's also important that everything that seems to keep you in a perpetual state or in a cycle state or in a worry state or discouraged state, if you look at it, there is a standard that you are deploying that is affecting how those circumstances, external circumstances, affect you, how you respond to them. So it's important that we redefine standard consistently, and that's why this corner is very important. Is very crucial, and it's our point of view that periodically you check the standard you're operating in your relationship. People have a certain standard that they have constructed rigidly in their mental world, and enter into relationship, whether a relationship about marriage relationship about friendship, relationship about your work relationship with people or the society and all that. You realize that they are standard. So your quality of engagement will determine the quality of experience. The quality of engagement will determine the quality. And what brings about quality is the standard you have placed that help you guide you, super guide you, and be able to superimpose certain reactions or responses that even affect your choices and decision making. So here we redefine standard. And then again we say we challenge status quo. It means that, for instance, we've been saying, don't look for solution, look for truth. And somebody will say, hey, why shouldn't I look for solution? Solution could just be an effect, it's the end. It's not like you're looking for people to honor you, or you're looking for some financial aid, or you're looking for to break into a certain space, or you're looking for acceptance in anywhere, or you're looking to improve anything. Now, what challenging status quo means is I'm engaging constructively. I'm able to think. I'm able to reflect. I'm able to measure myself. Why am I not progressing? Why have I not moved? Because the day of a righteous man shine brighter and brighter on a perfect day. I don't believe your past years is better than your now. I believe that your future houses such a potential. It might be uncertain, but I still believe it cannot be compared. It cannot be compared with the past. And some people, their past is still holding them. And I'm praying that as we give thought, as we give attention, as we even think about it, reflect around it, you know that you have really not changed. And how you know you've not changed will be the reoccurrence of your ability to accept reality, rejecting the same thing that upset you about people. If they continuously influences that reaction of irritation, you have not grown. Because Growth is about transformation. Because you see, when you talk about internal value, one of the things that you begin to think about will be energetic expression. If your energy is still at the same level of irritation, of weariness, of discouragement, even you faint about life, even stress of life, you will realize that you have not grown. If you still react to your parents the way you've been reacting since 2 years back, or the same thing that your parents are doing or saying about you, and you still react the same way, you still complain the same way, you whine the same way, and you still approach it with the same methodology or strategy that you have deployed over these years, you realize that you are all in the same place. It means that you have not grown. What growth means that within you, there's a transformation, there's an insight, there is a revolution that have taken place, that how you react have helped you. You're no longer reacting, you are accepting it what it is and responding with your values. So challenging status quo is not just nomenclature of stand out, okay, but it's a life strategy and standard to review, to rekindle, to rewire, to find new momentum, new insight, to move on, because we can't be stuck. And yeah, we invite you to a higher life. This is a corner of higher life. I mean, it's either you're in a lower life or in a higher life. Then is where you find when you're not satisfied in life. People talk to me and is it you seems to be in your place. I wasn't like this. I've not always been like this. I've gone through life. I've got experience what people call bad experiences. But for me, they were gifts of life. In hindsight, looking back, reflecting, they have polished me, they have refined me, they re-engaged me. And that's when I can talk about growth, transformation, evolution, maturity. Until your mental state change. When your mental state change, you know that there's a shift that occurs. Your peace, your calmness, the tranquility, the ease, the effortlessness, the new power, your weaknesses, your complaint, they begin to evaporate. They begin to ease off. Because now you're operating on a high frequency. It's like electricity. Why you have low current is because there's a downgraded frequency. But on a higher frequency, if you put anything that does not match that capacity, it will melt out. And that's what melting. You see, low life is common, because what it does is you live in traps, you live in walls, you live in limitation, you live in boundaries. You find yourself complaining, judgmental life, unsatisfied. There's no power, there's no meaning, there's no compassion, there's no empathy. If traffic still upsets you the same way it has upset you for years back, it means that you are seeing, you're observing, but you're not being. I was traveling to a location, and I met this truck that was parked on the road. It shocked me really that I didn't move. I was really empathetic about the guy. I know I'm going somewhere, but I was more concerned where I sat. How could I help the guy? Because I could see that he was struggling. In me, it was not a problem. You could see the peace, the tranquility, the acceptance. We call what they call radical acceptance. I mean, that's showing maturity, that's growth. Let me discuss about higher life. Let's assume you are in a place among your siblings, and you are the one who everybody depend upon. You are the star of the house. You are the provider. Initially, you begin to get irritated when they get a call. And I mean, some people still do. Or maybe in your office, you are like the number 10. Everybody run around you. You feel like you are exhausted. You want to complain. You say, is my own different? But let me tell you something. In higher life, when you switch it, there's what they call reversal gratitude. Reversal gratitude is where you say, thank God that I'm the one they are asking. Because if you just oppose yourself, you'll be wondering. Because it's not easy for them to even ask you. If you ask them, it's not easy. They will prefer that they are the one contributing. You see, now, if you are still irritated by those circumstances, it means you're in a lower life. Because now, that lower life is engaging you. You are not engaging life. You see why we are very careful in making sure that you have your freedom. You live a life of freedom where you are not emotionally trapped, mentally disoriented, clogged, where your physical body is disoriented is in disharmony with your total self. And I'm laying this foundation to give you the background why we say that this is a place where we challenge status quo, we redefine standard, and invite people into life of goodness. And today we'll be starting a new series called Harmony. Harmony is such a topic that is not discussed fully because we hardly say yes to life. Majority of our default system is no to life, which represents I reject this thing that life offered to me. I resent it. Oh, I regret it. Oh, I'm discouraged about life. I'm frustrated about life. I'm depressed about life. Life is unfair. And these are the products of defense, because this is caused by attachment of comfort, of food, which is pleasure, of power, of greed, and I mean the other things like of sex and of what else? I mean, so when we defend, we're defending from a place of concept. So today we are going to explore, how do I say yes to life? You know that in the endless energy resource, let's look at why people said, why should I let go? Why should I live a life of emptiness? Why should my heart be open and not closed? Why should I not create boundaries and borderlines and fence myself and separate myself and become so special? Am I going to lose myself? And we live in such a closed life. And when we live in a closed life, the first thing it does is it affects us to access the richness of our interconnectedness in life, because we cannot exist on our own. You cannot exist without the weather. You cannot exist without the temperature. You cannot exist without the plant. You cannot exist without darkness. You cannot exist without heat. You cannot exist without the variants of high and low, the high and low, because those are divine orders that had been constructed, had been designed, carefully designed for your acceleration and for your well-being. So what is harmony? Now we're going to have a dictionary definition of harmony. It's the quality of forming a pleasing and consistent whole. I like to say when I'm whole, it means I'm complete, lacking nothing. We do life from two formation. Formation 1 is incomplete. Formation 2 is completeness. I give this example. Think about it if you're going for a party, before you set out for that party, you decide to eat food, engage, and you were completely full. When you go for that party, your attention to food will be minimized. But when you're hungry, you're basically going to be looking at item 7. And if they don't give you food in that party, you're going to lament, you're going to curse, you're going to do all kinds of things. So either you're living completely or you're living incomplete. So harmony means to harmonize this from where you are. Like, you're complete, lacking nothing. Number 2 is the state of being in agreement or concord. In agreement. Once you disagree, you create tension. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean, Patrick? I agree when people say I'm idiot. I agree, the guy's expression is idiot, but you are not idiot. You are only going to be idiot when you respond to that. But when you say, I'm agreeing what you are saying, does not mean that it's in alignment to your own idea or preferences. It's just to accept that. I think I see this a whole lot when, maybe in sports. You can try it in real life. When people prove that they are champion or they are superior over you, just agree with them they are superior. No tension, no disagreement, just agree with them. Let it flow with them, say yes to them. Obviously, it denies them that superiority because you've already assigned it to them. And I use this model for too long, especially everybody proved that they are better, everybody proved that they are superior, everybody proved that their preferences, their opinion, their viewpoint are superlative. They are, just tell them yes. In you, the feeling of ownership of yourself, you own yourself. But the moment you disagree, they have owned you. Can I say that again? And this is how we lose ourselves. If you get any space and people all there are feeling superior, give it to them, say yes to them. You will never feel inferior. But the moment you start arguing, that shows you are inferior. Because there's nothing to approve. You have now assigned, logically, you have accepted. That's why you're fighting to prove. There's nothing to prove. Just say, yes, I agree with you. There's no competition. Stay in that place. You are superior. And that's agreement. And you are peaceful. You won't lose yourself. But we lose ourselves in disagreement. Okay. The third one. Biblically referenced as a state of unity and peace. we have not explored unification. Even in the globalization, when we talk about all of us are one, like something is happening in Ukraine, it affects the price in Nigeria. Oh, if something happened in China now, there's one plant in China that is bad that produces XYZ. Oh, there's a pipeline got caught in the ocean that is transited from here to maybe Algeria, and it comes down over there. It's gone. There was a time that I don't know whether it was MTN or some sort of thing. One of the communication company, they had something happen in their cable. In the Atlantic, we were all affected. So why do we separate ourselves? I am this, I'm Caucasian, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that, I'm African, and all that. We are one. The same air, the same system operating us, the same hospital. You know, I find it very well. I mean, it's okay. We are in the same hospital. Yeah, you are up. We are in the same hospital. You are here, I am here. You are sick, I am sick. It's a state of unity and peace, emphasizing the importance of relationship. This is where the key is: relationship and alignment to God's will and intention. I'm not going to go into those God's will today. It's not where I am, but maybe we'll need to talk about it. Where people say this is God's will and this for me, and 10 years after, they're asking, how did I get here? But I thought you said it's God's will. You were convinced. You had scriptural references. But now you live a life not in harmony to that will, because you now have preferences outside the will. Oh my God, I can deal with this. It's a good topic to deal with. Oh, you prayed about the job and you say, this is God's will. And you get into that job. You meet a very strong opposing boss or colleague. And the same job that you had prayed and said, this is God's will for me. You are still saying, how did I end up on this job? You're not in harmony. I like to make reference to scriptural background. I read something in John chapter 17, verse 21. If I pick it up from TPT, it says, I pray for them all to join together as one, even as you and I, Father, are joined together as one. I pray for them to become one with us, so that the world will recognize that you sent me. Are we one with God? Are we one with the Trinity? Let's look about their disposition in terms of their love life, which is unconditional. Are we one like them? Are we in harmony to that oneness? That's another thought for another day, but let's leave it. Then Romans chapter 14, verse 19. TPT. Make it a top priority. Show top priority to live a life of peace. 90% of the people I see driving their car, if you look at a facial expression, by facial expression, you just feel that there's no peace, that there's no calmness. But top priority to live a life of peace with harmony in your relationships, eagerly seeking to strengthen and encourage one another. Let's drop it further in Psalm 133, 1-3. TPT says, how truly wonderful and delightful it is to see brothers and sisters, to see colleagues, to see citizens, to see neighbors living together in sweet unity. Do you understand? It didn't say bitter unity. It didn't say differential in sweet unity. It is as precious as the sacred scented oil flowing from the head of the high priest Aaron, dripping down upon his beard and running all the way down to the hem of his priestly robe. This harmony, you see where we're coming, this harmony can be compared to the dew. You see, dew means it's quiet, it's gentle, it's sweet, it's bliss, it's beautiful, it's calming. Compared to the dew dripping from the Mount Hermon, which flows down upon the hills of Zion. Indeed, that is where Yahweh has decreed his blessing will be found. The promise is forever. There is a blessing in agreement. There is beauty in agreement. There's sweetness in agreement. There's bliss in agreement. There's pleasantness in agreement. There's joy. There's cheerfulness. There's beauty in living in agreement. So let's pause and ask ourselves a question. Are you in harmony? First of all, with yourself. Do you wake up and you are in harmony in your spirit, in your mind, in your emotion, in your four components as a person, in your personality, in your warrior state, in your energetic state, in your loving state, and in your supreme state? Do you think that they are in a harmony? Let me give you an instance, for instance. You know, people aspire to be in health. They could actually quote a spiritual, make a reference in the spiritual scriptures, references and all that. But in their mental construct, they are not in agreement. That there's a doubt in it. There's fear in it. There's irritation in it. Now their language does not support what they believe. So they already have a belief, a consent to it that this is possible. But their language does not signify that they are in harmony to their belief. I always said this. When people said, why shouldn't I be angry? And they've heard that anger dwells in the bosom of fools. In fact, that a quick-tempered leader is like a mad dog. Now, you know it, or you have seen it, but your mind logical will say, I was talking to a particular gentleman and said, if I'm not expressing this anger, they will think I'm weak. But he said, but I know the truth, but they will think I'm weak. They will not respect me. And I said, do you think that anger is why they respect you? No, they don't respect you. So where's the transformation? Where's the pleasantness? Where's the togetherness? Where's the unification? So just living is not enough. Friends, just living life is not enough. One must have sunshine. And sunshine, when you look at the sun, it agrees with everything because it has the capacity to shine its brilliance upon everything. That's why it says just living is not. Just living is not enough. One must have sunshine. And the sunshine is freedom. Harmony is freedom. One of the greatest tools God has given to us as human beings, which we need to explore more, is the power of choice. I always say that you have a choice, even in a choiceless situation. That now you know that you don't have a choice. Even in that choice, you still have a choice in it. A choice to how you relate to that situation. A choice how you interpret it. A choice how you define it. A choice how you perceive it. A choice how you want to feel about it. So it means that living is not just enough. One must have sunshine, a freedom, and a little flower. Wisdom is knowing that everything is a messenger and a helper. Patrick, did you say everything is a messenger and a helper? That's when you come into harmony. When circumstances, whether they are odd, whether they are disappointing, of course, disappointment is because you have already determined how an outcome should be. And that means appointing an outcome. That's what it means. I've appointed an outcome that you don't have full control about. And now when the other forces, other preferences, other opinion, other viewpoint, bring a conflicting outcome that conflicts your appointment, sole appointment, that you do not have sole control, you will realize that, what do you mean by that? Let's say I'm going to an office and I had an appointment with the boss, and the boss happens to forget your name in the security man or the security post, and in the policy, the boss has to put your name so that they will facilitate your entrance. Now, for you have appointed, okay, hey, I have an appointment by 2:00. From your office to that office, maybe it will take it 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So you have programmed it. You did not factor that there could be just some delay, just in case of protocol on the gate. And you got there and, like 10 minutes, 2 minutes, you want time. You got there and the security guy will tell you, sorry, sir, your name is not in our list. Can you call the boss so that we will protocol you in? Have you find out you're not in charge there? You thought everything was perfectly arranged, but the human forgetfulness just trigger up. Now you have appointed and created a form and created an idea, a concept, how everything will work, but you are not in everywhere. And you get there, you start quarreling. You're wearing your fine clothing. The cloth does not harmonize it with your expression of anger. You see how harmony is just a very fleeting thing that we don't pay attention to. And you see the way you're talking, and they are looking at you as simple, as gentleman, a gentle lady that you are. There's an upset that you didn't say yes to, because that's what harmony means. Yes to life. Yes to what it is. That is full acceptance. Yeah. So everything is a helper. And now what that thing has helped you is to help you to realize that you are not a patient man. You're not as organized as you thought you are. You see how it's a helper and it becomes a messenger. But now you are only having one view, that word helper. They will help build you. They will help grow you. They will help mature you. They will help reveal you. Because relationship is not for betterment. Honestly, relationship is a revelation of your true self, the level or your maturity that you are in. So therefore, one must train your brain and your mind to relate and associate with circumstances and events, both those were referred to as ugly or beautiful, as a helper or as a messenger. Every ugly situation that you harmonizes with will train you, will mature you, will grow you, will reveal your intent. In fact, ugly situation or beautiful situation will reveal your true intention and your motive. And you will know this through your feeling chambers. Now, this is where we are going with this story. You know that we live in narrow-mindedness. Narrow-mindedness is one way in, one way out. You know those streets that just have one entrance, bam, bam. No other way, no entrance, no option. So many of us, our life is in that space. In, out. That's it. Or single-mindedness. With self-imposed blueprint. Boundaries. When you talk about boundaries, what do we talk about boundaries? As we go on, we'll talk about boundaries. How we live from a constructed mind. Imposed boundaries, limitations, and borderlines. So this is influenced by the construction of our mind. Our mind is constructed from childhood up to this moment, from experiences, encounters, whatever it is. And so we live either from the memory-based mind or from an emptied mind. And it's difficult unless you understand this concept of emptiness or spaciousness that is liberating. But most of the time, we are occupied, and that occupation is a boundary there, what form borderlines and form limitations and form all kinds of, like walls. Impose, self-imposement. And now, the construction of a mind with past stories and narratives, which in turn situate us in defensiveness. That's why you see people are defending the territory. Did you call me nobody? They just called you nobody. Yes, I'm nobody, but you are nobody. And truthfully, you're really nobody. I'm not meant to insult you. Okay, it means that I have no value, I have nothing to offer. Those people, you have nothing to offer them. Truly, let's talk about all the people say that you are nobody. Honestly, if you have something good to offer them, if you go back to unification, if you go back to sweetly, if you go back to acceptance, if you go back to all that, if you have accepted and been born, that means you can offer them because you are now in born and in unification. But you have separated yourself. You have now become self-centered. And self-centeredness, it is the beginning of sorrow. All the things that you are suffering in life, the cause of it is self-centeredness. More. Why is it happening to me? Why? Why me? That's self-centeredness. When we become so personal, and that's what it means, we are nobody really, honestly. How you test how you are not nobody is live where they know you, move to where they don't know you. With all your accumulation, it's only by your cloth they can sense. But that is if the people who have value of cloth, if the people who are minded about consumption, about food, that your cloth mean nothing because they have no value around it. Have you not driven a car to somewhere and you park the car that is so special, and a child will take like a bottle and go round the view, you come back, my car of 50 billion, the car, as long as you're concerned, that car is a toy. And that's why the child have treated it as a toy. You see, this concept, as we dig about it, there's a wisdom. Don't just think I'm talking. It's the wisdom behind this whole thing. You know why you're afraid? Fear means that you are resisting, you are rejecting, you are resenting. You have not said yes. Say yes with what you're afraid. That's the end of it. Say yes to that thing that you're afraid of. You say, today, I say yes to you. That you will take it off. If some say, so that people will say, I am not poor. Say yes to poverty. That's where God lives. Blessed are the poor in heart, for they shall see God. That's a place of transformation. That's the true place of emptiness. That's the intercourse between your soul and your spirit that influences your material world. It's emptiness. That's why he said, be still and know that I'm God. You see, in that still moment, in that divine pause, in that silent moment, that is where true transformation and power, spaciousness encounter. It is not in clogging your mind with fear. When you're weak, it shows in your defensiveness. It shows in your limitation. When you're powerless, it shows. And when there's self-doubt, you have not said yes to life. Self-doubt will produce underestimation of your potential and your power. It will incapacitate you, because self-doubt is the beginning of the fall, is the beginning of worry, is the beginning of irritation. Irritation is a byproduct of self-doubt. If you are so power, like he said, I give unto you power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and all the powers of the enemy, nothing shall by any means hurt you. We don't even harmonize this with these scriptural, spiritual truths. We know them, but we don't harmonize with them. We don't say yes to them. So these are the fundamentals of self-centeredness and self-preoccupied significance. This state of self-inclusivity, it's all about you, produces forms. When we talk about forms, we talk about when people identify that nobody can help me. You take a form. It says, since I was born, I have no man. The man stayed 38 years. He has no man. And he has taken a form. And then people say, nobody will employ me. Nobody will accept me. That's a form. And that's what you have identified with. We'll talk about forms. We'll talk about identification. And it separates you. And when there's separation, there's no harmony. Every time you are upset, there's no harmony. Every time you feel unworthy, there's no harmony. Every time you feel unloved, there's no harmony. Every time that you're underachieved, there's no harmony. As simple as they are, this is the reason why we are where we are. Because of these forms, this identification, this classification, this kind of specialness that we have given to ourselves. There are people who their condition is so special. If you meet them, you say, that I lost my mother 3 years ago. I lost my wife 2 years later, and I lost my job. They have taken a form of loss. And consistently, that's what shaped their reality. They have not accepted it, so they become an instrument of manipulation and obtaining favor. I can't forget one particular gentleman. Every time, that 3 years ago, since I lost my wife, I'm so sorry. It's become a form. You've identified it. You have become a specialist in that story and that narrative. It is now what is influencing your choice and decision, influencing your entire space. And that's what brings about labels. We talked about labels so much. And now you realize that what it does is that you start looking for external validation, external acceptance. And when those external validation does not come, now they won't come because there's a sabotage. You don't even believe in it. There's no harmony. You don't say yes to it because it's in self-doubt. Then your mind is closed. So the primary source of fear is when we do not have the power we are all connected, not about our human beings. You're connected to your toilet. How do you treat toilet? I get into a space and people say, oh, this toilet is dirty. And they treat the toilet as from a place of separation, not unifying themselves. But meanwhile, you are using the toilet is serving you for purpose. It's serving you. And as big as you are, as nice as you are, you could not respect and be in harmony with the toilet. That's why you treat it that way. But meanwhile, can you treat yourself the way you have treated that toilet? You're distinct with that toilet because it warehouses you. That's where in all your glory, that's where you go in. He says it's toilet. That's the problem. You are not harmonizing with you. And these are the reason why we need to be able to deal with this harmony. And that's why you see a country where you are, you don't harmonize with the country. You curse the country, you belittle the country. And the byproduct of that is because you have separated yourself. There are people who go to work. When they get to work, they determine in their life they're not going to talk to anybody, they're not going to make friends, they're going to stand on their own. And if you ask them, they will say, I'm introverted. It's not introverted. It's because they separate themselves. They think that they are superior or they don't like the people over there. They will never get the richness of that place because as long as you have not said yes to everybody, you cannot tap into the universal collection of our gifting because we come with a gifting. Don't forget I say everything that you encounter, every human being that you see, they are loaded with benefit of addition, of increase. They come with a message and they come with a benefit. What is it that in your life, where are you struggling in your life? You have not said yes to it. Because you think that if you say yes to sickness, it will kill you. The moment you say yes to a sickness, you deprive that suppression. It won't attack you. What attacks us is the resistance, the suppression, the specialness that we have arrogated to ourselves, and now we judge the other person. The moment you continue to suspect people, you are not in harmony with them. And that's why you see you walk in at like eggshell because nobody's good. It's only you that is good. Specialness. Such people die on time because they suspect everybody. Have you seen when people suspect water they drink? They have to scrutinize it and scrutinize. I'm not saying don't scrutinize it, but they will suspect it. They be one with the water. The water will be one with you and it will not harm you. Lack of harmonies is the bane of suffering. I'm rounding up. In case you have a question, we'll continue on this topic. Very interesting topic. If you are confused, please ask question. Drop your comments. We'll pick it up and answer your question. I want people to be engaging. I want you to find the flower of your life. I want you to be like the sunshine. I like the sky. The sky can accommodate. When I travel and I see the massive, something when you go somewhere like Heathrow or maybe like in Singapore or some of those, and see the layers of aeroplane, this massive and they accommodate. It seems like there's nothing. Why? The sky harmonizes. Say yes to everybody. Come, we are one. Can we be like the sky? Where we have what we call sterling curiosity to find out the message and the blessing and the help that everybody and everything brings to you. What a time. It's amazing insight. This is a deep concept that we should throw in our age so that we're in harmony and live that calm, peaceful, blissful, quality life. Thank you so much. It was nice hanging out with you in this 1 hour. Stay blessed and come to higher life and consistently challenge your status, challenge the standard that you're living, challenge the status quo, redefine the standard, and so that, you know what, so that we can do life in goodness. Thank you so much.